I only have one screen today, so pardon me for that. But today will definitely be a good one. We talked last week about how to secure your coins and the importance behind having a ledger like this one, which is offline, and why is it critical for you to actually take ownership of your coins, right? And just to reiterate and do a quick recap of what we talked about last week, it's your money. At the end of the day, it's your money. You have to own it. You got to take equity of it. Why? Because lots of exchanges, they will oftentimes go bankrupt, and that's how you lose your money very, very fast. A couple of questions that I got even after the session last week was, Chris, where do I actually purchase the Ledger device? I would only recommend for you to purchase it on the official website. Anywhere else is not valid. On Amazon, people have tried purchasing them, and Kufu said, I opened my ledger and my coins were gone. Please DM me. And we'll definitely go through the entire setup today as well, and also the Ledger Live application. But I've seen people where they try to actually purchase the Ledger Live device via Amazon, and oftentimes those are hacked and compromised. So you definitely got to be careful, right? We talked about, what does it mean to own crypto and how blockchain is really the technology behind crypto, and that oftentimes people talk about cryptocurrency as just a way to get rich instead of really understanding why this may be the future of finance, right? And the way that we actually transact and send and also receive money, right? So just to reiterate, when you buy cryptocurrency, again, you're not buying an actual coin. What you really own is an address. So for example, if I buy Bitcoin, I will have a Bitcoin address that is dedicated for just Bitcoin. If I buy Chainlink, then Chainlink has its own address, right? And then from there, I'm able to communicate, hence buy and also sell, right? Because this is on the blockchain, it is definitely your responsibility to take ownership and to make sure that your coins are actually yours. So when you actually buy crypto, I want you to, again, remember that you are your own bank. This is why MasterCard, JP Morgan Chase, they're salty about this, because you are your own bank and they can't really regulate it. Of course, Joe Biden and everybody else, they're trying to find ways to really regulate cryptocurrency, but they're mad at that because they lose a ton of money by having people transact via Bitcoin. That is the reason why you see oftentimes many payment services, they actually do accept Bitcoin or Ethereum as a way. I went to an event last weekend where the only way that you could get in is actually by paying via crypto. So again, people are really trying to force the entire society to adopt crypto as a mean and also as a way to get going when it comes to finance. I want you to keep into account private key. Again, private key and also and public keys. These are the ways of encryption. I want everyone to really do your research and your due diligence. I'm going to drop some links here shortly that you can really do your research when it comes to private keys. But private key, that is what you're really securing. And again, you don't want anyone to get access to your private key. So this right here is how a private and public key works. So let's say, for example, here we have Alice, and Alice wants to send money to Bob. So using her private key, she unlocks her funds and sends 2 coins to Rob by encrypting them, or quote unquote securing them, right? Now, Bob's public key, so these encrypted 2 coins are sent to Bob's public address that has an association with her private key. So now when she uses her private key, he is able to decrypt the 2 coins on his public key, and he is able to unlock his funds. This is how we are able to have person 1 and person 2, one-to-one communication, even on the phone. Everything is via encryption. So again, if you understand encryption, then you definitely understand the power of technology, not just when it comes to crypto, but everything when it comes to digital transformation. We talked about how many cryptos there are right now. There's about 6,000 different cryptocurrencies. And again, I want to remind you that although we do have a vast majority of cryptocurrencies. Oh, yeah. And Brian, that is a really good point. So Brian made a phenomenal point, is that if you get into cybersecurity, Alice and Bob, you will definitely get to know them a lot more. Alice and Bob are 2 individuals or names that they choose for these type of examples. So that is definitely a good point. If you get into cryptocurrency, again, you will find that we have a vast majority of cryptocurrencies. Not all of them actually have a valid use case. That's why I always recommend, if you want to invest into Chainlink, if you want to invest into Polkadot, it's very, very important for you to read the white paper, right? Read what are the different real world use cases that can actually be implemented with this crypto token, right? We talked about the setup, and just to reiterate what the setup was. So once you buy the Nano Ledger X, you're going to receive a beautiful box like this. I'm actually very impressed by the packaging. It's very sleek, which I do appreciate. And you will receive a cable like this one. This cable right here is just a USB to a USB Type-C. At the end of the day, I have a Mac, so I do USB Type-C to USB Type-C, and this allows me to connect my Ledger device right into my computer, right? On top of that, you are also going to receive these different sheets. It's going to say welcome, just like this, right? And then from there, it's going to give you a whole bunch of different sheets. And for those that did not get the chance to do the setup, I highly recommend you to go back into the recording and look at it and also implement it, right? We have these different recovery sheets. These recovery sheets allow you to get your 24 different words, and you can write them down. I highly recommend you to write them down. Mr. Bill brought up a really good point towards the end of the class last week, and that is to get one of the steel devices that they have, that in case of a fire or a flood, this sheet is still protected, right? So that is what we did on the previous class. Today, we're going to cover how do you actually buy crypto from the ledger, and also how do you receive funds from the ledger. Drop a 1 if you have your ledger device in front of you right now. Okay, so Samuel, Zena, Tina, anyone else, and if you do not, I'll give you a couple of different minutes while we wait for everybody to get on board. I just want to quickly go ahead and talk about the current state of cryptocurrency, right? So before we talk about how to get it going, I want to talk about first what's the current state. So first, we're definitely going to talk about Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the powerhouse. That is the main coin that we currently have. So let me ask the earners a question. If Bitcoin is the main coin, what is the name that we call, or the term for the other coins? Okay, great job, Mercedes. Great job, Samuel. King Lattimore, phenomenal job. It's called a altcoin, or a alternative coin, right? So any other coin besides Bitcoin will be called a alternative coins. We also have those that are called shit coins, right? And shit coins are, those are coins like your Dogecoin, your Shibas. Those are coins that people just got in, they made a quick bag, and then you just go home, right? Those coins, they do not have any valid use case. And as Tina just mentioned, those are the to the moon type of coins that everybody thinks that it's going to go to $1 and everybody's going to become a billionaire, right? So those are the type of coins. I highly encourage you that if you do invest in any of those coins, you have to be comfortable with losing that money. Again, it doesn't have any valid use case. Actually, I'll tell you a quick story. So when I first got introduced to Shiba, or a shitcoin, a friend of mine told me, Chris, listen, put $300 into it. I'm like, I don't really want to put $300 into a coin that I don't really understand. I put $300. I went to the Dominican Republic, and I was buying another Airbnb out there. The 300 became 40,000 in 2 weeks, right? So yes, they are success stories and stuff like that. And here's my recommendation. Because again, I got to give you the real recommendation. Whenever you are up like that on a coin like Shiba or Dogecoin that do not have, he said, who your friend? It's crazy. I swear. And my friend made like 80,000 off of it. I'm telling you, people made a lot of money. I had a friend of mine who, and I'm glad that Jen said, take the money and run. And the story that I'm going to say is that I had a friend that when Dogecoin hit the pinnacle and Elon Musk was on Saturday Night Live, he thought that was the day that Dogecoin was going to just go crazy, right? He was up $300,000. And I'm telling you, because I know the person and I was next to him, and I was able to, to actually validate that the money was real. He had $300,000 in his trust wallet, and he never cashed out. He could have cashed out 300K. He waited for this big event to happen, and it wasn't positive. And right now, he only has about $2,000 in Dogecoin. This is to say that whenever something like this happens, you get a Dogecoin, and just take your money and run.